He didn't know the storm would change his life. He didn't know that by morning, a woman in his shirt would be standing in his kitchen, staring at him like he was the only man who'd ever surprised her. Marcus Johnson wasn't used to surprises. He was a single black father, a man who worked with his hands, who repaired whatever the world broke. Pipes, wires, old appliances, and on the hardest days, his own hope. Life hadn't been kind, but he'd learned long ago that kindness wasn't something life gave freely. It was something you chose to give anyway. His daughter, Zoe, was 7, bright eyes, curls like a halo, skin warm like his, and a laugh that felt like sunlight even on the darkest days. She was the reason he woke up, the reason he tried, the reason he stayed strong even when the world refused to be gentle. "We may be broke, baby girl," he always told her, "but we don't break." He believed that until the night the storm came. Rain hammered the world. Thunder shook the sky. The kind of storm that made the roads feel like rivers and the darkness feel alive. Marcus's old truck struggled through the flooded streets, wipers slapping back and forth uselessly. He just wanted to get home, get to Zoe, get to the small space where the world made sense. But miracles never arrive on peaceful nights. He saw the wreck before he understood it. A luxury car, silver, sleek, expensive, smashed against a tree. Its hood hissed smoke. Its headlights flickered weakly, fighting the rain. The crash hadn't been there long. It was fresh, violent, wrong. Marcus's heart clenched. He pulled over so fast the tires skidded. He jumped out into the storm without thinking. Inside the car, he saw her. A woman, dark hair soaked, black suit torn, seatbelt jammed tight, her face pale, eyes half open, breath shallow. Help! Just one word. Barely there. But enough. He smashed the window with a rock. Khazar, without noticing, ripped the stuck seatbelt free and pulled her out seconds before flames burst from under the hood. The explosion lit up the rain like fire meeting water, roaring behind them. The woman trembled violently in his arms. I can't breathe." "You're okay," Marcus whispered, steady, solid. "I've got you." The hospital was far. The roads were blocked. His home was close. He didn't have a choice. He carried her into his truck and drove through the storm, glancing over constantly to make sure she was still conscious. She wasn't just scared. She was fragile in a way expensive people usually never let themselves be. Her watch alone looked like it cost more than his entire truck. Her suit was tailored, her shoes designer. The storm had stripped her of power, but something about her still felt commanding even in weakness. When they reached his home, he carried her inside and laid her on his bed, the only decent bed he owned. She didn't wake, but her breathing steadied. He covered her with blankets, brushed a strand of hair gently from her face, and whispered, "You're safe now." Zoe appeared silently in the hallway, rubbing her eyes. "Daddy, who is she?" "Someone who needed help," he whispered. "Go back to sleep, baby." Zoe nodded and hugged him little and tight. "You're a good person, Daddy." He kissed her forehead, trying to be. He stayed awake all night, sitting on the couch, watching the bedroom door, making sure the breathing inside that room stayed steady. He didn't know her name. He didn't need to. Saving her was enough. Morning sunlight poured through the curtains, warm and soft. Marcus rubbed his eyes, exhausted, bones aching. Then he heard it. Someone in the kitchen. He stood slowly, turned, and froze. She was awake, standing at his counter, wearing nothing but his white dress shirt, her hair slightly messy, falling around her shoulders, her long legs bare, her posture straight, elegant, confident even in borrowed clothes. She held a mug of coffee like she owned the room. She turned toward him and smiled like she already knew something he didn't. "You really don't remember last night, do you?" she teased softly. Marcus swallowed. "I remember enough. I remember pulling you out of a burning car. I don't remember why you're wearing my shirt." "You left me in wet clothes," she said. "I borrowed this. I assumed you wouldn't mind." Her voice carried authority, controlled, calm, slightly amused, as if she was used to speaking and being listened to. Zoe appeared behind Marcus, gasping dramatically. "Daddy, she's wearing your clothes." The woman knelt to Zoe's height, smiling. "Your dad saved my life last night. You're pretty, Zoe said instantly. The woman laughed softly. And you're adorable. Marcus cleared his throat. I can call you a taxi. No need, she said simply. My driver is outside. Has been since 6. You could have left, Marcus murmured. She looked at him over the rim of the mug, eyes sharp. I stayed because I wanted to thank you properly. Then she reached into her expensive leather purse and placed a thick stack of cash on the table. This is for the trouble, the help, the shirt. Marcus stared. Then his jaw tightened. I don't want your money. Most men would, she said quietly. Well, I'm not most men. She studied him then, really studied him, eyes moving over his tired face, the scar on his arm, the grease on his shirt, the strength in his posture. No, she whispered. You really aren't. She picked the money back up slowly, folding it with almost unusual care. My mistake. I thought I was being generous. Generosity isn't money, Marcus said. It's doing what's right. Something shifted in her expression, a crack in the perfect, polished exterior. You're right, she whispered. She headed for the door, stopped with her hand on the frame, and looked back. What's your name? Marcus. Marcus Johnson. She repeated it like she liked the taste of it. I won't forget it. Then she walked out, her silhouette long and graceful in his shirt. Zoe tugged his sleeve. Is she your girlfriend now? Marcus choked. No, baby. She's complicated. Zoe grinned. I think she likes you. And what makes you say that? She looked at you the way you look at pancakes. Marcus almost collapsed laughing. Later that day, while he cooked dinner with Zoe humming beside him, the news played on TV. CEO Victoria Sterling. Marcus froze. On the screen stood the woman from his kitchen, not in his shirt now, but in a flawless white business suit, hair in a perfect bun, voice steady and in control. The reporter continued. Miss Sterling survived a dangerous crash last night. A local man rescued her. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. Victoria raised a hand, calm as ever. He was kind, she said, humble, and he refused money. That's the kind of integrity you can't buy. Marcus dropped the spoon. Zoe gasped, Daddy, she's famous. Yeah, he whispered. I had no idea. He stood there, stunned. She was a billionaire, a CEO, and he had yelled at her while she wore his shirt. He rubbed his face. This is unbelievable. Zoe tugged him again. Do you think she'll come back? Marcus shook his head. No, sweetheart. People like her don't come back to people like us. But Zoe whispered with gentle certainty. I liked her. She was nice under the fancy stuff. Marcus smiled sadly. Yeah, baby. She was. He didn't know it yet, but Victoria Sterling was about to step back into his life in a way that would rewrite everything. 3 days later, while Marcus fixed a leaking pipe at Zoe's school, a luxury black car pulled up in the parking lot. Parents whispered. Teachers stared. The door opened, and out stepped Victoria Sterling. White suit, dark sunglasses, heels clicking on pavement, walking straight toward him like she was walking into a board meeting she already owned. Marcus wiped his hands on a rag, grease smearing across his palm. Can I help you? She took off her sunglasses, eyes sharp and direct. Marcus Johnson, we need to talk. He sighed. If this is about the money. It's not, she cut in. It's about the truth. She showed him security footage, grainy video of him pulling her from the burning car, his face clear, determined, heroic. You saved my life, she said softly, and I didn't thank you properly. You already thanked me, Marcus said, by walking away. She flinched. That was cold. So was treating kindness like a transaction. Something passed between them. Tense, electric, honest. Victoria looked toward the playground, where Zoe laughed with her friends. That's your daughter? Yes. She's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her. Victoria exhaled like she'd been holding a truth too long. I came here to make something right, she finally said. She handed him a legal document. I bought the house you rent. It's yours now. Fully. Marcus stared. You... What? You deserve stability. You deserve support. You deserve to breathe. I don't need saving. Everyone needs saving sometimes, she whispered. Even me. She told him her truth. Foster care, group homes, climbing from nothing. She told him how he reminded her of who she once wanted to become. And then she offered something that stunned him. I want to build something in your name. A fund for single parents. Real support. Real change. The Johnson Fund. Marcus stared at her like the world had stopped spinning. You want me to work with you? No, she said softly. I want you to guide me. He looked at Zoe playing. He looked at Victoria. Powerful, brilliant, raw beneath her armor. If I do this, he said, there's no cameras, no PR, no show. She smiled. Deal. Then she stepped closer, voice low, teasing. And Marcus, I still have your shirt. He laughed. Keep it. Looks better on you anyway. Parents whispered. A reporter snapped a photo. Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in years. A beginning. 1 month later, at the launch event of the Johnson Fund, Victoria called Marcus on stage unexpectedly. He saved my life, she told the audience. But more importantly, he reminded me what character looks like. Marcus spoke from the heart, about struggle, dignity, unseen parents, unseen courage. Victoria held his hand afterward, gently, meaningfully. You changed my life, she whispered. You changed mine, he said softly. It was inevitable after that. The looks, the touches, the late-night phone calls, the trust, the warmth, the slow, steady slide from partners into something deeper. A year later, Marcus opened his own repair shop, Johnson Mechanics, supported by the foundation. Victoria visited often, wearing his shirt, every single time. Zoe adored her. Marcus admired her. Victoria fell for a man who refused her money but gave her something money couldn't buy. One evening, Victoria handed Marcus an envelope. A question I'm scared to ask, she whispered. Inside was a handwritten note. You saved me, not just from the crash, but from becoming a person I no longer recognized. I can't imagine life without you.